So you're finally done with that game of Ascension?
Yeah, finally.
All right. Did you win at least?
Nah, I lost by 9 points.
Wow. Losing.
It happens.
It's what he does. Welcome to the I.N.S.
Well, it's been a rough week. It's gonna be a rough August.
It's going to be a really rough August.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. We got events this weekend. Which we've got one Friday night for another game. I have to go to Phoenix to
Run
another one.
Right.
And then Sunday is a regular day to play.
Right.
Next week,
wedding,
and then potentially
field trips for video coverage.
Yeah, more stuff, and then Gen Con.
Gen Con?
And then
Gen Con.
and then my birthday at the end of the month.
Well, yeah, but that's the low end of things. We're not really worried about that.
Hey, man, whatever. I'll be 29.
Ooh, young buck. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the I.N.S. Glad you could join us. My faithful guy over here, Joe, talking about getting old.
It's like with him as always is Garth. Like, what the hell? That's your pack mule.
Would you be?
No.
Damn it! I need a pack mule. Who wants to be a pack mule?
Either way, we've got not a whole big report tonight, but we do have something special, which I don't think you see a whole lot.
No, not a whole lot of.
But hopefully there will be more of.
Oh, I think there will.
Hopefully there'll be
more.
There
should be more of.
So, speaking of busyness and stuff like that, we actually have a very, very special thing coming up here in a little bit.
We do?
Yes, in fact.
What? Not like right now.
Well, we've got maybe, a minute.
A minute. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut to an interview right now with lead designer Bryan Reese. Welcome back to the I.N.S. Joe, we have a special guest with us today.
No way, really?
Seriously, well, it's the guy right across the screen from us.
Oh,
ladies and gentlemen of the I.N.S., please welcome Mr. Bryan Reese.
Hello.
Hey, well, obviously, for those that don't know, Bryan is the lead designer for L5R, the game that we talk about every other week right here at the...
How's that treating you?
Yeah, how's that going, Bryan? Pretty good?
Yeah, I can't complain. I've been playing it since it came out 17 years ago, and now I get to design it, so it's pretty much a dream job.
That's true. Fanboy job come true, living it all.
I know, right?
Sounds like a few other people that we know, but that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Dear God, yeah. And to think he used to just knock me around there in, Sacramento the few times I got to play him. So,
I'm going to continue losing my piece here. Who doesn't knock you around nowadays?
Oh, shut your mouth. But, Bryan, you gave us a little bit of how long you've been playing. A little deeper history for you in the game, like what clan you used to play, those kind of fun things.
Well, when I first started out, I played all the clans, and then quickly, before Imperial Edition's even over, went just maybe a little after Imperial, but I went to straight Unicorn.
Okay.
Nothing but Unicorn up until Gold Edition. And then start branching out and playing all the clans again. Probably best known playing Phoenix, but I don't. I enjoy Phoenix; they're fun, but I don't deserve the credit as a Phoenix player that I tend to get, or at least you tend to get played more.
Okay, nice.
Well,
nice.
I guess on that note, do you feel that the clans are where you guys want them so far in terms of balance and playability?
For Emperor Edition, that is.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna talk about Diamond, or
no, we're not gonna get. No, we won't go too far back. We won't go too far back.
I'm pretty happy. I mean, clearly, a couple of the clans, Crane and Spider, are below the curve. And there's a couple that are above the curve. That's gonna happen in pretty much any environment. But I think we're on a solid base where all the clans have, at the very least, at least one playable deck. Some clans 2, 3, even 4 playable good tournament decks. So I'm pretty happy with where Emperor Edition is sitting.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, come to that, talking about other decks. I mean, Dragon Kensai is working pretty good right now, or at least, seems to do okay. Doesn't do as good for me, but I think that's play skill and not deck. But Monks, because as a returning player, when I played back in, just before Gold, and then I made the wait through gold, made gold, went still dragon, played monks. Coming back, what are we going to get, man? I mean, unfortunately, monks right now can't quite do it. I need to sling some more keyhoes, Bryan.
Yeah, monks aren't there. They're definitely one of the ones that I wish we'd done a better job on, because obviously currently we haven't done a good enough job getting them up to where they want to be. But we have some stuff coming out.
Cool.
We'll hopefully bring them back up to where they want to be. Because I'm with you. I like monk. I like the feel of tossing a couple keyhoes out there, and just the feel of your unarmed monk taking down 2 or 3 samurai before they get a chance to act. It just feels right.
Or popping up
to get them.
Yeah, or popping a berserker in the nose. But that's okay.
Yeah.
What?
I'm just gonna let that one go.
Yeah, whatever.
To be honest, I mean, since I'm a little bit newer to the game, I seem to have some problems with some of the wordings and things like that. Like, do you have any tips for trying to understand what the cards do?
Well, do you want to clarify that a little bit, like what specifically you're talking about? Like, if you give an example, might help me better answer the question.
Ooh. See? Come prepared with your question. Sometimes the templates seem a little they seem a little wordy sometimes, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, a lot of the strategies, as opposed to like just the regular personality abilities. Like the strategies just seem confusing to me a little bit.
You're talking about sort of like how they're written as if you're programming a robot. Like, if you have this, and then you do this, then bow this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a lot of games that, they're not meant to be around for 17 years and get, 10,000 cards worth of expansions, you can do much more conversational speak. Like L5R used to be back in the day where, a card would say, bow your guy to do a range 4 attack. Where now it has to say, bow this personality, range 4 attack. Or, and that's one of the easier ones.
Sure.
Unfortunately, you do have to, when you have so many cards and you need to make sure that you stand the best chance of them all working together under one rules template, you do have to set a framework that you then have to adhere to make things clear. Make sure that the restrictions on the action are clear, that the costs of the actions are clear, etc. So like, in Search of the Future or something like that, and back in the old days for anybody who actually even knows that card, that might say, Search of the Future might be a bad example, but, it might be, bow your guy to do blah, blah, blah. Then the very last sentence would say, you can do this at a battle where you don't have any presence.
Yeah,
sure.
But really, that card wouldn't work, because by the time it tells you that you can play it without anyone there, you're already past the point in which everything's resolved.
Okay.
In the old days, when the tournament scene wasn't as important as it is today, there was sort of this just, well, you know what we mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Towards that. And, I mean, that lasted for a decent amount of the game's history. But then at a certain point, we were just getting too many cards, and I had to change it to this sort of the templating that you get now. And I do understand the frustration, because I do wish we could just print the cards that would speak as if I was talking to you, right? Because I would never talk to you when we're playing a game.
No.
You read and somebody says, what does that card do? You rarely pick it up and read verbatim what it says. You just explain to us, like, oh, well, I'm going to bow my guy, and he's going to gain 2 honor unless you pay 2 gold, and then if you pay 2 gold, it does this instead.
Yeah,
Okay.
You wouldn't read it how it actually, bow this guy, : gain 2 honor, full stop. Your opponent may just...
full stop.
etc.
No, yeah, absolutely. So it's come down to the fact that just the game's been around long enough, it had to be that complicated, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because, I mean, you never... we can always try to plan for what the cards are that... what they currently are working in the game, but you never know what's going to come in the future. So a card that we make today that's some weird reaction or something, it's like, well, let's make sure it works with all the cards in the game. Okay, it does. But we don't know what's coming down the line. And if we don't make sure we stick with tight templating, then that one could cause issues down the line.
Gotcha.
Aric, you're an old player, and I'm sure you probably remember, we get a lot more rules questions in tournaments back in the day, like how this card worked, how that card worked. Who performs this action, who are the targets, because all that stuff used to not be written on cards. Cards implied what their costs were, they implied what their performers were, they implied what their targets are, etc. And you get a lot more rules questions that you just don't have to deal with today. It's the sort of sacrifice with the robot speak, but it is one of the things we are trying to constantly get back to a more conversational tone whenever we can.
All right,
cool.
So we do what we can, because I feel your pain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it just takes it's a whole nother learning curve, as a lot of the locals have seen, because we're moving in from another game. I was dragging them into L5R with me as I came back into it. And it took all of us a little bit of time, and of course, they're looking at me going, okay, pal, you've played before. What do we got? And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a little different. But you get used to it, and you grab a couple of the locals, because luckily Tucson has a good scene without us new players of solid players. So you go down and talk to one of them, and they're just like, no, dude, it's like this. It's really simple. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. And then you start to get the framework. Once you start getting used to it, it's easier.
It's learning a new language.
It is.
Once you get used to it, you read it, and then you read it night and day. I imagine it's sort of like Neo in the Matrix, right? Just after a while. That's all he doesn't even see the ones and zeros. He just sees, he sees, a lady in the red dress or whatever. And I know that wasn't Neo's line from that movie, but you get my point.
I get the point. Yeah, at least it was only a quote from the first movie, because the other two don't exist. That's a whole nother story.
You need to stop,
shush it.
You need to stop doing that, because it's really annoying.
All right. So.
I'm having to try and fight to keep this thing in my ear, because you keep moving it around.
Yeah, new technology. All right. Another quick question here. Do you get a lot of direct feedback from players on the state of the game? I mean, do a lot of them just go ahead and straight up email you? Because I know that your email's out there, especially even on the forums. It's there. Do people take advantage of that and just outright email you? Yeah? The overall that you feel right now, are you getting an overall positive feedback, middle of the road, negative? What do people throw at you?
Yeah, it tends to be positive feedback. Even the negative feedback are done in a positive way. So you came to me earlier and you said, what's the deal with the Dragon Monks? You weren't coming to me in a negative way. You were coming to me in a, hey, why aren't they, I would like to see them in a better place than they are right now. Not a, wow, you really ruined this game. My Dragon Monks suck. I'm out of here type of way. So even the negative feedback is sort of coming in a positive way. But no, I mean, most of all, it's a positive or at least constructive tone.
Good.
You do tend, and it's usually not directly emails to me. It's more you'll see in the anonymity of the internet, you'll see people post up, whatever people post up in the.
Forums are wonderful for that. So.
Yeah, we all know what the internet's like.
This is why I stay off of them.
Yeah, really, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that overall, the players are happy with where everything's at, and moving forward, they're looking forward to it. Back to, I guess, more of a strategy sort of thing. Is there a clan or strategy that you personally feel isn't quite where it should be, besides monks?
Where do I start?
I don't know. You tell us.
We put out 36 themes with the clan. Then you have Ronin and TFT. So you got 38 clans, or 38 themes, excuse me. Even if we did an amazing job and got half of them right, of 19 playable decks, we would still have 19 playable decks that, I would be unhappy with where they sit.
I guess I can rephrase that a little bit.
Crane and Spider clearly have their fair share of themes that I wish were better than they are. But one thing about the themes is they are just guidelines. Yeah. And we're well aware that we build the themes, we support the themes, but the players are going to put the best combinations of cards together. The best players, whether it fits the theme or not. So I've seen plenty of Kalani's Landing decks that run all Magistrate guys in the Dynasty side, and they have tons of gold, but they really don't run much of the Magic stuff on the Fate side. Even though they have all the guys to fuel it. They just find that there's other cards that they like better, and that's cool.
Okay. To piggyback on that, is there a clan right now that you personally think could be doing better than it is? Is there one that, like yourself and R&D, you're like, it's right here. We did this. You're not seeing it. Come on, play this. Is there one of those right now? I'm not asking you for the exact, but is there one that you see you're like, oh, they're missing it?
It's tough. So, I mean, because we're in a transitional phase right now where everybody now has their shadows embraced, but that environment sort of hasn't come to fruition. So I don't know what will come out of it. I mean, certainly in the Kotai environment, both pre-Embers of War and post-Ember Wars, I thought Crane would do a lot better than it was doing initially. Same with Spider. And when they finally did out their Spider, they weren't putting up wins, but they put up some top fours and a top two. Then you started seeing the number of Spider tournaments come up, and you started seeing the performance doing better until they eventually got a win. Crane, you saw a similar thing where they're putting up top fours and top twos. Finally, David Winter gets a win, and you start seeing the Crane come out of the woodwork. Because what tends to happen is perception is reality.
Yeah.
And if Crane is perceived to be bad, we'll just take Crane, for example, because it's easy to do in Emperor Edition. If Crane is perceived as bad, then you'll get a lot of the top players. Maybe they'll try Crane a little, but they won't try the full way they would try if they really thought this was a good deck to tweak it to the best of their ability. They'll just, they'll go on, well, this is doing well. I know this is a good deck, so I'll spend my time working on this one. So you tend to see the bandwagoning effect come into play, where it sort of starts to snowball, and that's where perception as reality comes into effect.
Okay, cool. And we've seen that in other games.
Yeah,
definitely. So that's cool. Well, speaking of that, are there any secrets that you'd like to share? Maybe something new and exciting that nobody knows that maybe you could give out as a tidbit, or are we pretty tight-lipped at this point?
Yeah, I was, trying to think of something leading up to this podcast. I don't know what is currently out there or what is not currently out there that I could spoil that we haven't already. I mean, there certainly is some cool stuff. I can't wait till some more of the 1,000 cards get previewed and stuff, but. Yeah, it's unfortunate I have to stay kind of tight-lipped right now. I can say that I've, for anybody that's curious, I've started the initial work on the next base set. That's nothing terribly exciting, but the next arc, I should say.
Right.
Awesome.
So
what's
nothing
terribly exciting to Emperor Edition, but
no. Well, what's the timeline on that? How long do we have Emperor for? Unfortunately, I haven't really dug deep enough to know yet.
It's 2 years, so you'll see the next one come out, what's that going to be, end of 2014, early 2015, is that right? No, I'm off it. Either end of 13 or early 14.
Okay.
But actually, I don't have the schedule handy.
Well, yeah, no. It's close anyway.
6-month time period, Q4 or Q1. But I mean, that does tend to get an idea of where we're planning. Those aren't the sets that we're designing or whatever right now, but where we're planning right now. We're starting to plan the next arc, so I don't know. I mentioned that to a friend or two, and that always kind of like, oh wow, really? That's crazy. So
yeah, well, you definitely have to have some good lead time. Do you get a chance to play much anymore out there? Because out there, homeward bound, local area.
Yeah, every Thursday I'm down there playing with my locals.
Cool.
So I do still get to play. I'm still active on some of the team forums and whatnot. So still testing decks and playing decks. And I don't get a chance to compete anymore, but I do go to Kotais. I went to 3 Kotais this year, right? Yeah, 3 Kotais this year.
Very cool.
But I go and I offer concessions everywhere around. So it's not really competing, but I do get to play and still test out decks and see what else is out there and whatnot.
Pretty fun, actually.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
cool. Sit down on a weekly basis and
play against the lead designer of the game you're playing.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. Maybe I'll take a trip out to California.
Oh God.
And get some time. Yeah.
People think it's a lot cooler until they hang out with me for a little while, and then that kind of goes.
The shine rubs off a little bit, and then it's just Bryan Reese. Oh God, what a.
Excitement runs off pretty quick once you get to know me.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's the same for us.
Oh yeah, but we don't have any shine. We didn't start with any.
He doesn't know that.
He kind of knows me from a long time ago. So
yeah. Back in the day.
99 through 2003. That's not too long ago.
Yeah.
But, oh dear God, I'm feeling old already. Shut up, you. But all right, well, cool deal. Joe, you got anything else you'd like to ask Bryan before we sign off?
I don't think I have anything else, but I would definitely like to thank you for your time and offering the words of advice.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure.
Yeah, learn to read, noob.
I can at least share in your pain if I can't advise you on how to better read new cards.
Or just the English language.
I'll get there. Yeah. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Maybe we'll actually get you to an event one of these days.
Oh, yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
I got to put up the money for a deck first.
Oh, Crimea River. All right. Well, guys, and Bryan, I'd like to thank you as well for joining us. Appreciate it out here on the Imperial News Service. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been our interview with Mr. Bryan Reese.
Thank you for having me, guys.
All right. Thanks, man.
Have a good night.
All right. Take care.
All right. Okay. That'll be it for the
Well, again, I would definitely like to thank Bryan Reese for his time spent there and answering my questions.
Yeah, dear God.
Again, hopefully there'll be more of that stuff to come. And if you.
Yeah, true. We definitely going to push for more video interviews with some more AEG folks.
For sure.
And any notable players that would like to maybe jump on and have their words known, or hell, non-notable players. You just want to spout your mouth off. You think you got something to say. Throw us a line at that email, and we'll look at trying to get together with you on Skype and throw something on.
Try and set something up, much like that. And you know what? Everything's all said and done for the night. I'm
sure
have to go do a couple things before I go to bed.
But you got to do a few things.
Well,
you
have to bring the woman home.
Oh yes. Yeah, you better get her home in one piece, or her old man will.
Either way, for all the viewers out there, we look forward. At least he looks forward to seeing you at Gen Con. Unfortunately, I can't make it.
You guys are being spared that, but that's okay.
We're gonna have a lot of stuff going up from the event and things like that. So look forward to hearing from you guys and.
Sure.
Bringing more stuff out.
Absolutely. Well said, Joe. Guys, we've got a ton of stuff coming. We've got growth, expansion, and all kinds of craziness. Stick with us. It's the I.N.S. We're coming for you.
Peace. Bye.